Welcome to the weekly astrology report for Monday, June the 10th through to Sunday the 16th. We're going to talk today about a very potent, powerful, if not explosive energy early in the week. Well, Pluto and Mars are in a square formation. But the good news this week ahead for each of us is a Mercury Cazimi that is happening in a conjunction to the asteroid Minerva. That will bring a spot of bright light for all of us in the world collectively, maybe some breakthrough information, news stories regarding situations of war in the world, but in our own lives. When Mercury goes into the heart of the sun, which is an important day, we can have divine downloads, insights, information, and the experience of hooking up with a higher power in our mind, in our ideas, but also in our phone calls, emails, and text messages. So that is happening on Friday the 14th. And I have a free webinar if you want to come join me. I'll be conducting the webinar from Spain, where I'm traveling on the El Camino. So come join me on that webinar. I'll actually be in Porto at the time, and we can connect. And in the description box below, you'll find out how to join me. We'll dive into the asteroid Minerva and how you can use this energy. It'll be a lot of fun. Hey, are you new to my channel? Welcome. My name is Lori Lothian. I'm using the Western Tropical Zodiac and the whole sign house system. I adore the fixed stars and minor asteroids, such as Minerva, who's in our story this week. Now, I always cover something called mundane astrology, which just means world astrology. And I always do that in the beginning of every video. I'm not going to spend a lot of time there today, but we will talk about China-Russia relations, as well as situations to do with Rafah and the Middle East, because what's happening this week is connected to events that went back to February the 14th of 2024. That was when Mars and Pluto came together in the sky. So I can't ignore that cycle that's playing out in the opening square. If you don't like world astrology and it's not your cup of tea, that's totally okay. You can jump ahead using the chapters, click the title of the video, and it'll take you to your sign. Or I post timestamps at the top of my comments. So there's an option for everybody here. So rather than worry about complaining that you don't like world astrology, just listen for your sign instead. Does that make sense, guys? I hope so. And also the timestamps will not sync until an hour after a live premiere. All my videos go into live premiere mode. I'm in the chat box talking with you guys, taking your questions about the astrology. So I attend all of my live premieres in the live chat. If that interests you, hey, subscribe, like, hit the bell for notifications, be a part of my tribe. Help this channel thrive so I can thrive in this profession called astrology. Now, I'm in a beautiful little hotel. It's like a wellness spa. I know you don't care about my life. Some of you are so gnarly about it, but wow, I've been so enjoying being on basically a tour with women through Portugal and Spain. And I feel like I'm getting the rest I need. So for those of you who know me for like several years, thanks for cheering me on to get this, this thing done here called the Camino. All right, so one thing I want to start with is the week, of course, in general, and we're going to look at the sky, which means I'll show you the chart. When you're looking at the sky, which is a flat, two-dimensional image of the heavens, I want you to look to the left side when we're doing all signs. When you look to the left and you're looking at the sky, if you know your glyphs, that's the sign we're on. Once we're in timestamp mode later, you can just jump to your timestamps. So let's talk about world events first. One, every time Mars and Pluto come together, it's called a synodic cycle. It's a conjunction. It happens every 2 years. This is the week where Mars has moved into the sign of Taurus. When Mars moved into Taurus in 2021 January, we had Insurrection Day. Then he moved into Taurus in 2022, and we began the Russian war with Ukraine. So Mars and Taurus seems to be connected to these types of themes. Now, this is Mars coming into Taurus as this week is starting. He's already there, 8th and 9th of the month. Depends on your time zone. He moved into the sign of Taurus. And so when Mars is squaring Pluto and Taurus, he's coming off of the February conjunction on the 14th of February in 0 degrees of Aquarius. And this is called the opening square. And he's squaring or 90 degrees away from Pluto. And Pluto is in Aquarius. And this opening square is going to take the February story further. So what happened in February? And don't forget, even though it was on the 14th, the conjunction was exact, you can go about 4 or 5 days before and 4 or 5 days after and ask yourself the question. One, the foreign minister to China, the vice foreign minister of China, that week went to Russia and had a great meeting with Russia and Putin and all of that stuff. And basically the news stories around the time where Russia decides to strengthen its ties, China decides and announces it's strengthening its ties with Russia. End of story. So we can see more stories about Russia, China playing out this week ahead. It will be inevitable. Particularly interesting, of course, because China is an Aquarius rising. And this is where Pluto is sitting in the early degrees of China's first house, where China even has its moon, we the people. So in essence, we're going to see big stories. Mercury is also sitting in the heart of the sun this week, announcements, news stories about the relationship between China and Russia. The BRICS nations are part of those two as well, and new trade alliances, of course, but more news of some sort, most likely. People are always asking about the Taiwan-China story. I don't think that's finished yet. Of course, I think that with Pluto in Aquarius, the ascendant of China, it means strength and wealth. Pluto used to be called the wealthy one, the wealthy one, the rich one, back in the day and by the ancient world. And so like we're talking about an increase in the power, Pluto, wealth, Pluto of China as Pluto moves through the rising sign of Aquarius, which is a current national chart for China. So expect some stories that look good on China this week. Now, also possibly because of the Taiwan issue, always in the background. And with Saturn in the sign of water, which is Pisces, which is water wars, water hardships, yes, we could see some news about that situation too. What about the Middle East? I know a lot of you don't care about that, or a lot of you do, and you're just like, feeling like I am. But the Middle East is a hotbed for this event to do with Rafah and to do with what's going on right now as I record early access ad-free on June the 6th for my Patreon community who's going to get this today or tomorrow, and you guys get it later on the 10th. As I'm recording, they're trying to broker that ceasefire deal that Biden announced that seems like Israel will have none of it, even though it's their proposal. But like, I don't want to smile at this stuff, but unfortunately, on February 14th, go 3 days earlier, it was the 11th, it was the Super Bowl. Don't forget, Mars-Pluto conjunctions don't have to be the day of. You can go 4 or 5 days before, 4 or 5 days after the Super Bowl massacre. That was when Israel tried to rescue 2 hostages and killed about 83 people as they went into Rafah. Now, also headlining in the news cycle around the 14th of February were multiple articles by multiple mainstream news entities like the New York Times and CNN and everybody that Israel is proposing a ground invasion of Rafah. So that was exactly what was happening in February as Pluto, power, destruction, transformation, crisis, and Mars, war, conflict, and aggression came together in February. So we'll see some new development or some twisting plot turn in the story of the Middle East, because when this first opening square happens, it is connected to things that were occurring in the month of February in the world and in each of our lives. Mars in Taurus is not in his best condition. He's being asked to act like a Venusian being. And now, of course, Taurus is the earth and sensual and pleasurable energies, but it's also currencies like, money. And we may see some major devaluation moments in world economy of currencies as we see China, Aquarius rising, implicated in things and Russia and the BRICS nations and the word currencies. So look for those stories this week as well. Big currency stories and stock market stories as well. Taurus is stock markets in many ways. Okay, so those stories are big as well. Pluto and Mars are explosive energies that can look like big events like terrorist acts, bombs, and wars when they're conjunct, especially, or opposite each other, especially. Okay. And we saw that, as I said, Super Bowl massacre, for example, in Rafah in February. Now, the square may not look like that. It's taking the story further. I want to point out something before we do your sign. I hope you guys can hang in there with me. We always want to look at the sky as a synodic cycle. I don't want you to think of this as like a one-off event. And I'm going to give you some dates to consider roughly. I don't want you to think about it and maybe put this in your calendar. Of course, I'll cover this on my channel. But because Pluto co-joined in February with this planet Mars, and that's what happened, 0 degrees of Aquarius, then we would look at the opening square this June 11th as like the first major act reversal or storyline if you're a screenplay writer, new inciting incident. Inciting incident was definitely, the Rafah stuff, the Super Bowl massacre, the announcement there's going to be a ground invasion of Rafah. And so now we have the opening square, for example, right now, this week ahead, being be precise on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That's when we're going to feel that Pluto conjunction, Mars square to Pluto from Taurus to Aquarius. But then moving forward, if you can hang in there with me, grab some pens and papers, November, January and April. November, January, and April. Is that crazy? Pluto will be opposite Mars. Mars will be opposite Pluto. I hear what you're thinking. You're thinking that means that if you know your astrology, Mars must be in the sign of Leo. Not all of it. Because Pluto will ingress back into the last degrees of the sign of Capricorn for his last gasp of what started to happen with Pluto and Capricorn in 2008. That was the Occupy Wall Street, Me Too movement, exposures of underbelly, seedy things, drain the swamp. Did it get drained? I don't think so. That Pluto and Capricorn, power structures, top-down power structures that are dominating the world, right? Corporatocracies, everything else. That was a story, 2008, the subprime loan scandal, the underbelly of mortgage, pyramid schemes. Pluto will be back in Capricorn as a last gasp of that old story that Stephen Forrest calls the story of the Dark Fathers. A wonderful evolutionary astrologer wrote an article about this. And as Pluto goes back into Capricorn, which he will be doing September, October, and November, he is still now in direct motion at 29 degrees of Capricorn in the month of November, when Mars is in the sign of Cancer. And that will be an opposition from the Cancer Capricorn axis. I cannot wait to do a video on that. But then in the month of January, now we have Mars in the sign of Leo, Pluto in the sign of Aquarius. And then in April, Mars in the sign of Leo and Pluto in the sign of Aquarius opposite each other. The reason that's happening is Mars will retrograde December 6th for a couple of months, and he's spending a lot of time both in Leo and Cancer as a result of that retrogradation between the signs. So we see that oppositional energy nonetheless between Mars and Pluto in November, in January, and in April. And then when you want to contextualize that to world events, I'd say January and April with Aquarius rising China are stories about China and maybe Taiwan or other difficulties or intensities in the world. Whereas in November, when we're looking at it on the Cancer Capricorn axis, it may not be at all about the nation of China. Keep that in mind. In the United States, the Cancer Capricorn axis is a financial axis of the chart, axes of the chart, right? Houses 2 and 8 in the Sibley chart. And we may see a big financial turbulence in the United States in the fall, in the month of November. Now, finally, when does this whole Pluto story end completely? When is it all a done deal from that conjunction of February 14th of Happy Valentine's Day of 2024? It is a done deal on January 2026, but before it becomes a done deal, there's a closing square, and that closing square will happen with Mars in detriment in the sign. Where's the time frame of that? I wrote it down. Closing square, where is it? Oh, it's on my other piece of paper. Sorry, got my other piece of paper handy. My little notes from the hotel, right? The closing square is going to happen September of 2025. September of 2025. Okay, so I want to double check that date because I feel like suspicious of that date. I really do. So let me double check. Okay. I'm wondering really then. My back end of my software. It is September 24th, 2025, with Mars traveling through the sign of Scorpio, his own domicile, his own home kingdom in the ancient tradition. It's not Pluto, that's a modern invention. And that's going to make it very intense because he's strong in the feminine sign of his own kingdom, Scorpio. And often Mars and Scorpio can represent things to do with stealth, to do with secrecy, to do with things like, the alphabet letters, CIA, NSA, or, those guys. I shouldn't say all this stuff, any of these kinds of organizations. So that closing square will be in the fall of September of 2025. And the final shemazel is all complete, and grand finale of that storyline is going to be in January of 26. So we can think about things to do with Russia and China alliances. We can think about China in general regarding these stories. And we can think, of course, about the Middle East story when it comes to Rafah, because I know the war started in October, but it was in the time frame, okay, of February that the announcement was made by Israel that it wants to do a ground invasion of Rafah. And in fact, that was also that massacre. So we'll see more of those stories playing out energetically throughout these years till 2026. I know you can't believe it could go on that long, nor can I, but prodigy Indian astrology, like teenager guy, or now he's in his early 20s, did predict not only the war, don't ask me who he is, just Google young prodigy Indian astrologer from India. He also said this war will go at least 18 months based on his Vedic sidereal astrology. And when the war started October 7th, I kept that in mind. This was not going to be something that was going to end quickly. It reminds me of a line from the movie 300, where the queen says something like she's going to get back at the guy who violated her. And trigger alert, in a non-propriety way. And she says, you will not like this, and this will not end quickly. And as she shoves a sword into him or something. And I'm like, you will not like this, and this will not end quickly, is literally the mantra of this horrendous war. And I do not see it ending quickly, despite hopeful peace treaties, ceasefire agreements. Venus is in her evening star iteration, which means she will try for peace. She will be rising in July into the visible sky, where she's capable of delivering peace. It does matter for the Middle East because the nation of Israel is a Libra rising ruled by Venus, and therefore this is a story that could give us hope. But Venus rising in the sky in July through to the next conjunction with the sun in March is our best hope for some kind of resolution to the absolutely catastrophic situation in Gaza. Okay. And this is what the sky looks like. And I want to point out the Cazimi, because that's where we're going with your sign today. You are not a nation at war. All right. We're going to really focus on the one thing that you can really do. Pluto is a transpersonal evolutionary force. It often is about things that are beyond our own personal reality. In evolutionary astrology, it's the divine will. In the sky, when we see Pluto doing anything with any planet, we always think about global, evolutionary, transpersonal events. But of course, it is your sky too. And therefore, in the beginning of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Mars-Pluto square is conflict, power, and domination striking against each other. It's like disagreement. You could say maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're having a hard time you're arguing with God. You're arguing with divine, super personal, transpersonal forces, meta forces, Pluto, that are commanding something from you and demanding something from you. And your little personal willpower, Mars, is like, I don't know about that. I disagree. So you might have a power struggle in the real world or within yourself coming into the story of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, when we see that Pluto square. There's Mars right here at 3 degrees of Taurus, and there's Pluto. As you can see, I don't know if I'm going to be able to annotate. You guys are propped on pillows, and it'll knock the whole chart, the laptop around by pressing down on the pillows. So hang in there. But I would just say this. You can see that this would have been happening, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Mars and Pluto were in more of a precision square. And of course, you're catching this video on a Monday, but you would have felt it on the weekend as well behind you, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. What is this pressure cooker that you might be dealing with? Let's move us to Aries. And let's go ahead by an hour. And don't forget, if you're listening in this live premiere, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. But if you're listening to me afterwards, still do the same thing, please. It helps me as an astrologer to create content for you guys and be able to create a career from this path instead of a hobby. Well, it is a career at this point, but to continue to do so. Now, I am recording still. Hallelujah. I had a terrible moment of thought that I stopped it, not restarted it. Shoot. Okay, so let's go into it. The thing I like to really focus on here, honestly, is just the beauty of this Cazimi with Minerva. She is a goddess of knowledge and wisdom, but also in the sense of Athena, Minerva energies in the ancient tradition. She also represents war. She's a patron of like cavalry, the horses, of knights. There's a cult of war and victory connected to both Athena and Minerva, Greek and Roman versions of the same goddess in the ancient world. However, Minerva / Athena sprouted from the head of her dad, as she wasn't born normally. And to me, that's sprouting from the head of her dad, which is Saturn. Yeah. It makes me think of also something almost very AI-like about her. And so I do think that she could also represent developments in artificial intelligence. And with all of this stellium of energy in the area of the chart that represents the mind, ideas, communications, yes, that could be some major news stories coming through the sky about AI developments this week, particularly on Friday, June the 4th, give or take a couple of days on either side. The day of the Cazimi is enchanted. All right. It's magical. It's a day you want to use to like send an email, phone call, text letter, apply for the job, send your resume, make a stamp of called an election. Something good can happen if you initiate it. You'll often notice online that astrologers pump shit out into the ethers when one of these positive elections is happening, so that their videos do really well. So I'll probably put something out on Friday, even though I normally never put anything out on a Friday. That is always adjust for your time zone. So what I would point at is at 23 degrees and 23 degrees of the sign of Gemini with Minerva within a degree, we'll definitely call that a very potent connection. And Venus also within 3 degrees at 26 degrees, we have a very positive, very beautiful, very enchanted Cazimi version of reality. Mercury goes into the heart of the sun for everybody in the world and delivers, first of all, any news that was hidden, any information that was unseen can be revealed. When Mercury is in the lap of the king or the throne room of the king soul, the king is a divine intelligence that runs the shebang, the whole of reality. And there also is a sense of a mission, instruction, reset button in each of our lives and in the world collectively. And Mercury will be in charge of that. It's a roughly 6 times a year Mercury is in the heart of the sun. And so this is an important time. And this is his direct or superior conjunction. He's in direct motion. He's behind the sun from our vantage point in Earth, not between the Earth and the sun. But this is an important elemental fire year for Mercury. For all of his retrogrades this year are in fire signs, and his conjunctions with the sun in Aries and Leo and Sagittarius are dominating the energetics of this year in a way we haven't seen since 2017, when it was also retrograding and conjuncting the sun in the fire sign. So you might want to remember that backdrop. So from the backdrop of an elemental fire year, Mercury is dipping into the sun's wisdom on the 14th with Venus co-present and Jupiter, 2 benefics. So I would say celestial sky-wise, this is one of the most positive moments in our sky, and you want to harness it in your 3rd house. We're going to go through all signs and talk about 3rd house in the Gemini part of your sky. So today's delineation for each sign is very simple. We're talking about how to use this for your sign based on your rising sign, most accurate, most likely, but some people say their sun sign is more accurate. So listen for your sun sign, rising sign. But in India, they also give credence to the moon sign, which can represent mother, home, body, and safety. And they also would say I say your sun is your deeper self, your essential nature, your soul. And the ascendant sign represents the character you're playing in this game of life, right? And so sometimes people really relate to their character. Maybe the sun people relate to their soul, and they're getting more juice out of their sun sign. I honestly get equal juice out of listening for my sun and moon sign. I'm just trying to get comfortable on a sofa while I'm doing this with you guys, honestly. Excuse the wobbly chart, okay? Oh, it's just like gnarly to get myself in a comfortable position for all signs. Okay. All right. Let's move into the all signs delineation for each sign, when we're starting, of course, with Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. Now, Aries, Mars is the lord of your sky. He's very important to you, and he's moving through the sign of Taurus, which makes it this week a beginning of a Mars energy in the sign of your financial wellness. Honestly, it's not a bad place because he can help you eliminate wastage around things that you shouldn't be spending, but sometimes he's a big spender here too. You have to figure out whether you want to spend too much and be depressed later, or he's just going to help you eliminate waste. But and listen to my Mars in the sign of Taurus video for all signs to get the deep dive there. But as this week is going on, just reminding you, the beginning of the week, he's going to square Pluto. So you're going to feel this the weekend, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, into the week, where you're up against some kind of struggle, power struggle with somebody else, probably. This can represent a friend or an elder sibling, somebody that has power, someone that you might look at like an elder sibling, but somebody who might also be able to benefit you, because this is the house of benefactors. And that Pluto up there can be a contrast energy where there's something going on with financial matters, most likely, and another person. And so there is a conflict early in this week ahead to do with money matters, most likely. And it can also be connected to salary and earnings in your career. And there may be some need to adjust something here, maybe to go to battle for more money or more pay, or just have a financial difficult tension playing out in the sky. That said, The good news is, by far, in my humble opinion, you have a Cazimi in your third house. And this is happening on the 14th. Come to my free webinar, description link below. I think I'm teaching the webinar on the 13th. And you're going to see that this is a time in which literally maybe on Friday when the Cazimi is happening, it depends on your time zone, but it's happening around, 2 a.m. in Toronto, Canada. That's what this is set for. It'll happen later in the night, on the 13th, just for your time zone, if you're in the Pacific time zone. But you're all feeling it kind of like on that window of 13th, 14th of the month. You can divinely download some deep insights. And because it is in your third house, which is a house of ideas, for many of you Aries, the mind, the ideas, the mental constructs are going to be exquisite on Friday. Give it a little time, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, to like really stick the landing. If you want to send an email, phone call, you want to start a new writing project, you want to launch a website, you want to, publish a website, publish an important blog post, those kinds of things are third house matters. You might plan a trip, take a trip. That would be a good time to like buy the ticket kind of thing. Third house matters. Travel. Third house is travel, short distance travel. Third house is education. Enroll in a course, launch a course. Skills-based learning and teaching belong to your third house. Finally, siblings in general belong here. And there can be some very pivotal turning point moments about and with a sibling coming through your sky, and including maybe your cousins, aunts, and uncles, and all the extended family tribe. Those matters are highlighted for you around Friday. More importantly, use it or lose it. Minerva, the goddess of knowledge and wisdom, is here. What are you trying to realize? What understanding, knowledge, and wisdom is needed by your life, you, right? With that Chiron passage through the house of your identity, for all of you Aries people since 2018-19, this has been a long haul. I think it was 2019 he got there. Yeah, 2019, he leaves in 2027, I believe. And so now you've been like healing the primal wounds of your identity. And here we have this beautiful aha that flows back to Chiron, right? What is it you're here to deeply heal and learn about who you are, to heal a wounded sense of identity? Maybe you feel like you don't belong. You're the outsider, the mismatch in the world. That's a very chironic wound. A mother wound is chironic as well. And you're coming to a turning point in this healing because this Cazimi flows back to Chiron, right? And I like this Cazimi for you in the sense that because of Venus being conjunct the Cazimi, there's a sense that this is going to bring something very beautiful into your life a little later in July when she becomes visible. I mean, it's a delayed action here. So you could have an idea or a download or an aha moment. And then by the time you start to roll into July and she becomes more of a visible entity in the evening sky, you might find that this is where you see some of the sweet goodness of this Cazimi tangibly being played out in the real world. So although we're seeing a Cazimi June 14th, I'd say wait until at least mid-July for the real juice of it to emerge, and Venus will be showing you what is really happening here. And what I'm saying is that Venus needs to get far enough away from the sun to give you the goodies. No, I will be doing a video on Venus becoming visible in the sky. In the early part of July, I'll have that video out. So listen to that video when it does arrive. Finally, the Cazimi is squished between two benefics, besieged by benefics. And that can indicate that it's just purely very lucky. I should call this like lucky. I don't like to overuse the words luck. I know a lot of people say, hey, you said it was going to be a lucky week and nothing happened, or you're always promising luck. Guys, it's general bell curve astrology. Your chart is individual and quite unique. Like, I always need to have a disclaimer, okay, adjust for your own chart. But like, it is a lucky energy. We have Jupiter and we have Venus and we have squish in the middle, Mercury Cazimi. So lucky breaks regarding travel, education, siblings, publications, ideas, journeys, those matter. Sibling relationships are all quite golden for you. Hope that's useful. Funny enough, Aries are the least likely to listen to me. I'm an Aries sun and moon. And if you go look at my monthly all signs videos and you look at the numbers, you'll have like Libra, 20,000 views, and you'll have Aries 12. Not even, maybe like 6,000 views. Aries are the least likely to listen to this content on all channels. Other astrologers, we talk about it all the time. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising. Never tell an Aries what to do. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising. So obviously this is important because Mars is moving through your sign and you are feeling it one way or the other. And this is like until July 20th, so please listen to my Mars in Taurus all signs video. It will be, I think it will be out by the time you're catching this wave. Yes, it will be. Because this is you being Martian. You are now carrying the sword. You are now full of vim and vigor, and you are, executing things with action and decision-making power. That's what Mars does when he's in your sign. He can also make you very forceful, demanding, and conflictual towards your significant other, your marriage type partner. Those people can be getting the brunt of some of your aggression, but it's a good vibe for you because you're pacifist like Venus type being, and now you've got more Martian oomph, chutzpah going on here. As Mars is moving through your first house, be careful, of course, of injuries. Until July 20th, he can have you hurt yourself, cut yourself, burn yourself, fall down, those kinds of things. But Mars here is early in the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, squaring Pluto. Well, what does that do for you? It means you're having some kind of conflict with somebody in power above you. Pluto in the 10th house, the boss, a very demanding father figure, some authority figure enforcing a willpower energy that seems quite strong at you, and you are fighting back. So look for power struggles with people above you, most likely, as I said, father figures, 10th house, or work environment places, career environment pressures, and you'll have to have a battle there through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it may have even started in Friday, Saturday, Sunday before you heard this video on Monday. The energy here is about you being willing to stand your ground. I would say for you Tauruses, this is a stand your ground moment. Hold forward, hold your strong point ground. Do not waver. You are trying to hold ground against some larger force in your career and reputation space. Now, as well, Mars does rule your house of significant marriage type partners. And just because of that, some of this may embed them in this tension as well. Just note that, right? You may have some of that conflict going on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Now, when we look at the good news of the Friday Cazimi, which is literally something that is quite enchanting, you have financial luck. It's so simple. Money and resources luck, because the Cazimi will incite something, not necessarily on Friday the 14th, but you can use it to apply for a new job, to invest in something financially, to spend your money on something powerfully potent that you really want or need. The sun rules your fourth house, could be spending for things to do with home, property, and real estate. But Mercury is coming into this part of the sky with two benefics on either side. He's wedged by a benefic besiegement. And so it is also a longer narrative than Friday. Look to July as Venus rises into the visible evening sky to be a harbinger of financial wellness in your life. Resources, money, things you need to survive and thrive, things that you need to do for food, shelter, and water. Your basic needs are in that second house. Second house has to do as well with more mundane things like what you put in your mouth, what you eat. There can be some positive turnarounds and stories to do with bad patterns of eating or habits of digestion, especially drinks and smoking, because of Chiron in the house of self-undoing flowing to this part of the sky. I see a lot of Tauruses making some great strides from this Cazimi on Friday through to Venus rising to carry it forward in July and being visible to say it's an ending of some addictive habits and patterns as well. If you need to do anything to beautify your face or facial teeth, jaw, face work, Venus is here saying yes. Jupiter says it goes swell and lucky. And Mercury is the inception point. Maybe Mercury sun on Friday, which is a Venus day, allows for you to, find the perfect dentist, a surgical procedure, plastic surgeon, whatever you want to do there. And you may be more able to execute that possible plan for facial rejuvenation or something in July when Venus is a visible planet. But the beginning of this can look like a hearing about it, an idea about it, paying for it, signing on the dotted line if you want to rejuvenate yourself facially, for example, or just get that perfect veneer set. Or I'm saying beauty because of Venus, right? It's not just like you need to fill a cavity. If you're doing dental work here, it can look like for facial beauty as opposed to just cosmetics, as opposed to just utilitarian. Right. Anything else I'd say about that? No, I think we're good. Let's keep on moving through each sign. Venus is the lord of your sign, right? And she's helping midwife, a beautiful Cazimi. There is wisdom and knowledge. I need to add wisdom and knowledge. There is wisdom and knowledge to be had here. So what insights, understanding, knowledge, and wisdom can you have about your own financial matters as Mercury downloads a divine insight? Come to my free webinar that's happening, I believe, on the 13th of June, and learn a little bit more about how to use this asteroid Minerva in our guided meditation, etc. I think you might enjoy that class. We'll talk a little more about other planets such as the Moon and Saturn during the Cazimi as well. And we'll do a deeper dive because I'm teaching you how to use the Cazimi in these classes. Alrighty, so let's go into the Gemini Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. This is something that is all about you. You are the one with the Jupiter blessings through till next year, June the 9th, when he leaves your sign. You are going to be larger than life, magnanimous, lucky, and captivatingly magnetic to others, and maybe gain a little bit of weight, whether it's muscle, fat, or a baby in your belly as a female. That is Jupiter first house kind of energy. But you are also blessed by this Jupiter transit as a Cazimi is happening here. So this is something that's only possible, Geminis, for you in this beautiful way once every 12 years, right? And it may not even be, because we need to get Mercury Cazimis in air signs during a Jupiter and Gemini narrative. In our Cazimi free webinar, I'll be talking about the rarity of this in more depth and how to use it. So check out my description box below. There's always a replay if you can't make it. So Jupiter and Mercury co-joined together. I mean, sorry, the sun. Okay, sorry, let me start at the beginning. I sidetracked myself. All right, number one, it's not easy. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We have a Pluto-Mars square. Now, Pluto moving through your 9th house is a house of foreign travel, foreign shores, foreign lands, book publishing. Father figures can be here, things to do with visas and passports, higher educational settings, legal and court matters. There's the gamut, the whole range of possibility, what Pluto is investigating for you in the next 20 years. Certainly it's good for us. I have a progressed sun in Gemini. Us Gemini energies who want to do book publishing should go very swell. But Pluto is in this beginning this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, squaring with Mars, and Mars is in your 12th house. Now that's foreign travel as well. This is far off foreign shores and revenue generated from there, or adventures in far off places. And often people with a Mars here will, Mars in the 12th or Mars in the 4th often includes people who end up expatting away. I had a really gnarly troll. She just deleted her comment. I don't know where she went, telling me I don't know the meanings of my houses. And I'm like, what? No, it's been like 25, 30 years of astrology, but I also include Vedic astrology meanings. And this is where I'm saying, what is this tension for us Gemini people? I have a bit of Gemini from progression, where you're dealing with something difficult Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday that may involve travel, foreign countries, or money generated from foreign lands. And there's a power struggle of some sort going on here. Pluto can be a powerful father-like figure as well in the Vedic tradition of the 9th house. And so you're just dealing with some kind of power struggle, some kind of conflict of willpower. And it's very subtle at sometimes because, self-undoing, self-sabotaging habits, or 12th house being somewhat unconscious. You may be going through very deep spiritual work as well. This is a moksha house, and coming into some conflict with your values, your spiritual ideology, your way of understanding the meaning of life in general, and coming into some transformation around that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then we see the beautiful energy, of course, of this lovely Cazimi on Friday, which may bear fruit in July as Venus is visible. It's wedged between the benefics, and you can have the divine download, the insight, the aha, or anything you particularly wish to initiate, do, or start on the Friday Cazimi, 13th, 14th, depends on time zone. Take my free webinar. It's super blessed. So, send the email, make the phone call, start the first chapter of the novel, make that initiatory electional energy valuable and useful. Wisdom, knowledge is trying to be received most directly by the character of Gemini. Of course, if it's your sun, it can be about your career. And if it's your moon, your home and nest and your body. But if it's a Gemini rising, it's everything in your life that you're embodying this wisdom and knowledge. You're taking it in and you're going to use it, especially as Venus begins her visible transit through the sky in July. And you can see the out picturing of this story. And I'll dive into that in deep dive in my Cazimi webinar video, because we'll look at the precise timing of the Venus rise and how it may play out for you. But understand that your ideas, knowledge, and wisdom quotient, your IQ of wisdom, is way higher than normal, and not just on Friday, or Thursday, Friday, the Cazimi hour, but indeed is a more generalized blessing. You could even say it could last a year, because with Jupiter here co-present until next June, it's like suddenly you are the knowledge, wisdom, genius holder. Now, Minerva, like Athena, rules books and knowledge of books and literature, and often with authorship. In my practice, I've learned that. So authorship is a big story for many of you Geminis over the next year. Now, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It does help my channel and helps me thrive as well. It is a moment for a break. I need to take a little food break. I'm having a hunger attack. I'll be right back. Hey guys, I got to check out of this hotel in like 45 minutes. So we're going to get this done by the time we're done. It's the first hotel I've been in my El Camino journey where I actually had Wi-Fi that worked. Okay, so it's been a trip. It's been a trip. I've been in these rooms where the signal was dropping constantly and I couldn't do any videos for you on the road. Okay, so let's keep on. We're going to move into the next sign, and we're going to keep this at a level that I'm not late for my my group departing our hotel. All right, so let's talk about this for you guys. This is, and I don't have good mics with me and stuff, so again, sorry. Let's talk about this with you guys. Cancer rising, sun, moon, and all of that. Sun, moon, and rising. What we see here in the sky is Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, some serious power struggle energy, conflictual tension going on between an 11th house character, sibling, older, friend, ally, benefactor, maybe colleague, coworker space as well, and some tension around financial matters. Usually the 8th house is financial matters, but also can be things to do with stealth, secrets, betrayals. So there's a tension with maybe a friend that feels like a betrayal, or maybe some kind of jealousy or possessive energy, Pluto in the 8th house. On the other hand, it's usually about money. And so there's some kind of financial tension, because 11 and 8 are money houses. 11 is money directly from your 10th house of career, and 8th house is the longer monies of your investments and your 401k and your taxes. And those tensions are there Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Or money you share with your spouse or another person, that tension is here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Then we move into the good news of the sky. We like to talk about happy stories because we see this is going to be very juicy if you are spiritually inclined. You have a beautiful Cazimi of Mercury, wedged between Benefic Jupiter and Benefic Venus on the 14th, 13th, 14th, depends on time zone, but come to my free webinar, check it out below. We'll dive into it so you can use this or lose this. This is one of the best Cazimis I've seen in my reality field of, maybe I'll say the best Cazimi of 2024 video title for this, because it has that enchantment of both a Venus and Jupiter energy in your house of spiritual enlivenment, your moksha, full liberation, Buddhahood. I see the Matrix, Neo wakes up from the Matrix, 12th house energetic. Where are you having a spiritual illumination as a Cancer, sun, moon, and rising around that 14th? Downloadable insight. Dreams at night. Mercury is a dream messenger. The 12th house can be your unconscious, subconscious, and the world of dreams, as well as the 9th house, by the way. You may be downloading amazing information in a dream, a shamanic journey, anything like that. So this is a powerful time for you to access that in part of your mind that is not local, the non-local mind, and really use this for yourself as you approach this Cazimi energy on Thursday, Friday. And it's, depends on your time zone, right? So everyone adjusts for your time zone. Minerva says divine knowledge and wisdom, insight coming your way. Yes, if you make money over foreign countries and foreign shores, and some of you may do that. You may be like me, international borderless revenue from international sources. And then this is going to also benefit you, not just on the Cazimi, but over the course of Venus's visible rise, because she's midwifing this in July. So I'll give you some more details on the webinar, but when you're most likely to feel some kind of financial benefit from a Venus, goddess of money, Cazimi, and a money from international sources and far off shores way. Finally, if any of you are thinking about going to an ashram or traveling for a spiritual pilgrimage or spending time abroad, that 12th house, far off foreign shores and land story can open up the doors for that. Planning an idea about it, taking the trip. But when Venus is rising in July, more likely you'll know when and where you want to go. So keep that in mind. And Venus finally here with this Cazimi midwifing the Friday's Cazimi on the Venus day. If you have been stuck in any self-undoing, self-sabotaging patterns, any habits and patterns that have really held you back, this could definitely look like a divine insight or revelation or shift so that you can let go of that pattern, habit, or addiction even. Jupiter is ruling that 6th house of health matters. So especially habits, patterns, and addictions that have held you back in life. And there's a huge ability to harness this, not so that you're like clinging to your, all your AA things like halt, my hungry, angry, tired, should I have that drink? You just don't even want it anymore. Some of you can really break through that way. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. It looks to me like you're going to experience a tense time in the beginning of this week with a significant other in your life. Now, obviously, that can be your marriage type partner or a business partner or a gnarly client, but somebody is powerful and it's opposing you. And of course, that's a new story you'll have for 20 years. But with Mars at the top of the sky, the tension is others and work, others and career, others and reputation, and power struggle Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And maybe there's even conflict between your work environment and legal agreements, or your work environment and contractual agreements, or your work and career environment and your spouse or significant other. And there's a tension in play. I mean, it can be anything, something going on surprising you in your work that you're excited about maybe, and your partner's like disagreeing with that, doesn't want you to take the new job because you'll have to move the whole family or something like that, especially because Mars rules the 4th house of home and nest. And again, maybe some exciting momentum in a career direction is at odds with somebody else in your life and what they want in the relationship with you. Now, let's move to the happy Mercury Cazimi on Thursday, Friday. It depends on time zone, but come to my free webinar that's going to be happening on the 13th, and you'll understand how to use this or lose this powerful, rare, celestial event of great power. There is a Mercury in the heart of the sun in your 11th house of good spirit. This is a lucky house already. This is a place where good things can happen. This is windfalls and pennies from heaven. This is things to do with allies and benefactors favoring you, favors from friends and high places. It can be about the rewards and the gains from your career, including salary, perks, and literally winning like Employee of the Year or get the red carpet rollout with your Oscar. So those energies are highly activated, and larger groups of influence and belonging that you're connected to. With a divine insight here, though, one of the ways to use this is you could buy a lottery ticket. Why not? Jupiter rules your house of gambling over here. Speculative investments and winning money. So yes, buy a lottery ticket on the Cazimi if you can, which is going to be on June the 14th. Adjust for your time zone, June the 13th, other places. But also your wishes and dreams and hopes and long range plans for your life are of the 11th house. And so it would be really good for a lot of Leos to spend some time visualizing, journaling, maybe vision boarding with, collaging or something, what you really want to have happen in your life over the next while. Certainly, this is a useful tool, and it could indicate a breakthrough in terms of your ability to get your fairy godfather and mothers on board, Venus and Jupiter, in getting some of your wishes to come true. News and information from a sibling, older, or from a friend or ally, come through the Cazimi on Thursday and Friday. This information, news, and stuff benefits you greatly. It does sextile your leonine identity, right? So keep that in mind. Nothing bad about this in any which way. We have benefics loading in that 11th house of good spirit. I can't see any downdraft, no matter how hard I look. The flow to Chiron, we'll cover that in the webinar, also helps you heal relationships with father figures, spiritual beliefs, and spiritual philosophies as you embed something sweet and positive into reality in the house of your wishes and dreams. All right, come to that webinar. You'll get a lot more juice out of it, and you'll probably be delighted, I hope. Virgo. I have a lot of you in my life, sun, moon, and rising sign. Hang on. I have to attend to something. Give me a sec. In order to stop the share, to pause the video, I have to stop the share. I apologize. It's one of the cab may be coming later and I need to talk to the crew. So hang on. Sorry, guys. I'm doing the El Camino. Oh my God. I have to show you my hat next time. I'll put it on. It says El Camino babes. I'm traveling with some women who are like me in their 60s, and we're not walking 23 effing kilometers. Like we're like cabbed to a spot where we think we can handle it. My longest day was maybe 5.5 miles. I mean, and then I had to take a break for 2 days. I mean, if you're like me and you're working every day on YouTube or something, you don't have time. I didn't have time to like do a 2.5 month, walking preparation. And like, oh my God, there's some younger people, some younger women on the group, and they're just plowing ahead like the 35-year-old. But I'm like, no, this body doesn't need plantar fasciitis or Achilles tendon problems because I'm killing it on the Camino. I'm doing the El Camino. Cab and walk and cab. I'm here for the food, the culture, the flavor. I'm not really like, oh, I need to get to Santiago so that God will speak to me. But it is an enchanting walk. Okay. Moving into Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. Let's get rolling. Basically what I'm saying here or seeing in the sky for you guys is tension early in the week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Just be aware of it so you can deal with it because you're having some problems here, Virgos, between work and work colleague space stories, Pluto in the 6th house, and 9th house matters. 9th house is education, for example. My daughter is a Virgo rising, for example. She's finishing her last classes to get her degree, one more course left, a summer course. And that's tension between her academic setting and her boss at work. So simple, power clash wills. Could be for you, tension to do with matters to do with renters, landlords, leases, pets, 6th house, health matters, work and workspace matters, and 9th house matters, travel, father figures, higher educational settings, and courts and legal matters. You can have lawsuits energy here and a battle around a lawsuit and trying to finalize something in a big clashy energy on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But the good news is on Friday, we have that Cazimi as Mercury is wedged between two benefic planets and downloading divine insights for you to do with your career. Technically, it can be really literal. You could have a negotiation contract deal come through, some very important information or news to do with career and reputation matters coming through. You could have applied for a job and you get accepted coming through. These energies are what is going on Thursday, Friday, kind of during the Cazimi on the 13th, 14th with Mercury here. Yet, for example, you could do this actively, apply for that job, inception energy, election energy on the Cazimi itself and get the benefits of the luck of that Cazimi. Or ask your boss for a raise or ask your boss for a favor. Communicate something in the workspace environment, in the career environment. If you're self-employed like I am as a Virgo, you could put out a promotion, you could share a sale, you could publish a website, you could do something in the visible sky with your career story by using the Cazimi on the Friday or Thursday, depends on where you live, late at night, and use it as a powerful beginning inception energy. Now, I honestly would think with Venus becoming visible as she's midwiving this Cazimi with goddess of knowledge and wisdom Minerva here, that you're going to see a lot of the benefits from what happens in the 10th house of career and reputation. The benefits of that will be more visible to you when Venus is a visible planet in July. So you may have some inception of something and visible results in the month of July. Okay. So keep that in mind as a possibility because she's kind of like the midwife of this excitement because she's present there in your 10th house. All I can say is you're lucky in your career in the next year anyway, all right? Jupiter's here till next June. The bosses love you. You get your dream job. You expand and grow in your career and reputation and success. What you're visibly doing in the world looks really good on you over the course of the next year. So don't be afraid of it. Let your career success explode in the next year. And this is a beginning of that. This is an inception point for good things unfolding in career and reputation matters. And there's nothing else to say. What else can I tell you? All right, Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. We have the week starting off with a bit of tension in the sky, and the tension is going to look like you are in a condition here of battle of will or struggle or conflict of agendas between the Pluto Mars story. And this is early in the week, you'll feel it on the weekend, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday as well. Mars is in a money house to do with shared resources with a significant other, or money that comes from investments or taxes and mortgages and all such matters. Money you share, right? A bank has the money, you're borrowing some. And that shared resources and money is tense, and it's squaring off with Pluto in your fifth house. So it could be financial challenges with your children, financial challenges with a lover, financial struggles and power will struggles regarding matters to do with entrepreneurial endeavors and taxes. Who knows? It just, it looks very monetary to me. Otherwise, it could be secrets coming out to do with love, infidelity, and betrayals. And it's very intense energy. End of story. When we move to the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, however, then we're moving into an area of the sky where you're going to like that Thursday, Friday, Saturday glow up coming off the Friday Cazimi of Mercury, coming into the heart of the sun in your ninth house of God. It is what it's called in the ancient tradition, but it's also that place where we have our spiritual philosophy, our dharma, our meaning of our life. It's a metacosmos between the world's spiritual place. So this is with Jupiter up here, almost like the preacher on the pulpit, and Venus, the benefic, wedging in here. This is a real big spiritual enlivenment energy for some of you flowing to you, where you're going to be inspired, philosophically, spiritually during the Cazimi. Wisdom and knowledge and authorship goddess Minerva can help you do something in this book publishing house, get a contract, send your manuscript to the agent, use it or you lose it, approach a publishing house, send your draft to an editor. These are good things to do in the publishing industry version of this. However, foreign shores and foreign lands and golden opportunities, Jupiter and Venus, means that some of you may have some very golden opportunities for good things happening and lucky things happening from foreign places and foreign peoples during this Cazimi. If you're somebody who is in an higher educational setting, good things in your professors and courses, getting accepted at your favorite higher educational place are all possible, or even beginning to know where you want to go and sending your application in is an ideal thing to do on the Cazimi. Come to my free webinar where I'll give you more insights on how to use this energy. And in the description box below is a link to my webinar. I think with this energy here as well, you're going to think to yourself that you could be very fortunate around father figures blessing and benefiting you as well. Jupiter Venus up here says blessings from father figures in your life. Spiritual guides and gurus can come to you under this energy as well. Venus is visible again in the sky, but not until July. So some of the blessings may occur in the summer month of July. There's a lot of healing from this Cazimi, healing something to do with a wound, to do with your ability to be in a significant long-term committed love story, or your wounds around, a particular long-term friendship or client relationship. These are chironic wounds that are being really uplifted from this Cazimi. And as July unfolds, you'll see more evidence for that. Okay, good luck with that. I'm wishing the very best for all of you Libras. Well, Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. Look at this story as a tough week start and a blessed ending, because you go into a battle mode of willpower with a significant other. This is likely, if you're in a monogamous and long-term committed love story, conflict with that person regarding matters to do with the home. Matters to do with your domestic and private life and a significant other, and a battle of wills coming into play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And you could also have a battle of wills regarding situations with a significant client, if that's a part of your world, customer, like some significant marketplace person for you. But again, the battles bring you right back to your private domestic life and land, property, home, and real estate matters. You could have legal matters, contractual battles to do with property, land, and real estate as well. So keep that in mind Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Yeah, as we approach Friday, you're moving into that blessed Cazimi wedge between two benefics, godfather and mother, Venus and Jupiter in co-presence on either side of a Cazimi in a chunky money house. Now, I call it chunky money because you don't earn it. It's not a paycheck. It's not dripping into your life, but I mean, it can drip as royalties. It's money you share with another. Why royalty income, you're asking me? Because if you publish a book, or for example, the publisher's getting a chunk of it. It's their money and they're giving you some. You invest in stocks. The company you're investing in owns the money. They're giving you some. So that kind of money, but money you share with a significant other in a marriage as well. So there's a blessing zone here. And this is the inheritance house, right? This is where, you're going to be bequeathments happen. And with Pluto in the fourth house and all of this here and Jupiter here for a year, many of Scorpio people here, sun, moon, and rising, especially rising, will receive bequeathment, inheritance, family, legacy wealth in the next year until next June. This may be a signal flare for that. Mercury in the heart of the sun, information, news, phone calls, text messages coming through that let you know that this is in play. That also with Venus rising in July, you may not see the money coming from mother or dad or legacy wealth or grandpa until July. I'll use my son as an example, getting married this summer, asking dad for some support on the finances. That could be that shows up as a yes, so it could be very subtle. Doesn't mean that necessarily someone has to die. But I'd say over the course of a year with Jupiter here, it is very often a signature of an inheritance. Then we also would say you have blessings in your investments. If you're in the stock market, if you're investing money, you have blessings and luck here coming through the sky in this Cazimi with things to do with your deeper spiritual life. Moksha liberation is also one of the meanings of this eighth house. And the spiritual liberation of the eighth house is to disidentify from your egoic consciousness and be able to liberate yourself from the character you're playing in life. And that can download for you as a deep moment of profound insight, knowledge, and wisdom on the Cazimi itself with Venus and Minerva co-present and attending the birth of this Mercury story. Certainly, I'd say, if you have news of a stock investment opportunity randomly and spontaneously coming through Thursday or Friday or Saturday, well, why not, right? Because it will be very blessed, and that would be probably the best tip you've gotten in your life. I remember when I was younger, someone tipped my ex-husband about Viagra. He was in like a board meeting with a bunch of Pfizer execs, and they said, psst, psst, insider trading is terrible, I know, but you might want to buy some of our stock. And we didn't. We lived in New York City at the time, and of course, we would have been vastly wealthy. We bought Pfizer before it blew up over Viagra. And I'm saying for you, it's something like that. You could get that kind of vibe. Now, by the way, see, I told a personal story to those of you who don't like it, but it's a teaching story of an example of how this could work. All right, moving on. Oh, and you're healing something to do with your sixth house. If you've had situations that have been difficult with rental properties, rental situations, pets, health matters, or colleague coworker challenges and financial matters, these things are also in the mix for a restoration and a healing from this Cazimi. I just had a spirit of the dead vibing in my ear in the middle of a recording. Well, that never happens. Like literally, I'm going to put this on the record. June the 6th at 1:34 a.m. in Spain, I had a spirit of the dead just talk to me. I'm only putting on the record because I don't want to find out that that's exactly when so-and-so died, but my life is, I do talk to dead people. Wow. Okay. Moving on. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. It is to me a story where at the beginning of the week, you're going to have to really watch out for some significant conflict with maybe a sibling, especially younger, or somebody in your extended family, cousins, aunts, uncles, nieces, and nephews. That's where Pluto is dominating with power. Now, third house situations can be also a power struggle regarding travel plans or with a neighbor. Neighbors belong here. And it's connected to dogs, cats, pets. So it can literally be like your neighbor says, get your dog out of my yard already, and there's just this big Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday kerfuffle. But also you could have some very big challenges regarding your local environment, travel environment, and things to do with work, right? Work environment stories. A disruption or a conflict of wills around travel and work stories. And maybe some of you Sagittarius may also have some kind of conflict here. Mars is in his joy in your sixth house. He's strong. Go listen to my Mars All Signs video. But on the other hand, this is a health and sickness house, and you may have some challenges with your health, perhaps even an injury or inflammation or heat in the body. There's going to be coming into an at odds energy with something that is very potent and powerful that wants to happen in a travel, education kind of energy in your chart. Third house matters. But at the end of the week on Thursday, Friday, we're going to feel that Cazimi, and it's going to be very blessed because of its besiegement by benefics. It's an benefic enclosure is a technical term. And in this benefic enclosure kind of between Venus and Jupiter, you have a Mercury in the heart of the sun with Minerva. This could be something very positive to put, that you realize you have an idea of something you want to share with the world, the marketplace, the audience for your 10th house of Virgoian endeavors. And you want to put something out into the world, and you have this beautiful insight, clarity, especially if it involves knowledge and wisdom, books, or authorship. On the other hand, this could be something happening for your significant other. You're not even about you. This is a house of the, your marriage type partner or significant people in your life, and they're having this beautiful blow up, glow up. And it may just be you witnessing them, watching it happen for them. And it's helping them heal, something to do with romance, sexuality, fertility, children, creativity, entrepreneurship. They're having this sort of situation here where they're experiencing this tremendous, beautiful energy. And you, as the Sag, is in witness of it for them. So just remember, not all of the sky is always about you. If you want to sign a legal contract or a deal, especially if it regards property, land, and real estate down here, you get that flow energy, square, but it's still there. You could really square away with a positive legal agreement regarding land, property, and real estate, for example. You could also heal a relationship with a child. If there's something you need to do to heal a relationship with a child, the chironic wound around children, but maybe the healing comes through the participation of a significant other in your life. All right, Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. This is a narrative where you're experiencing the beginning of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, as gnarly. And that's only because you're having a conflict, perhaps here, regarding financial matters and a child, or financial matters and a lover. This is Pluto trying to transform your financial system, your money, your resources. He'll be in this Aquarian part of your sky for 20 years. You're just literally getting out of Pluto transiting through your house. Now you're powering up for financial success. But it's also the transformational process that's involved in Pluto. And it looks like early this week, there's a clash with some other energetic. Could be definitely a lover or a child, or it could be some creative project or entrepreneurial endeavor, and even consulting and money issues. And there's a bit of a tension here, a battle of wills going on for some reason, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Now, but what I like, and who isn't going to like a benefic enclosure of a Cazimi by Mercury, it's like golden. It's so golden. I mean, I don't know what to say about it, because it's in your house of work, and work matters. This could be a very good employment opportunity, especially with the moon in the 10th house. And in my Mercury webinar, I'm going to give you more detail on that. Sign up for my free Mercury webinar in the description box below. And honestly, your replay available. It's like you're having a golden moment around a possible, beautiful financial goodness and opportunity in your career. And I brought the word financial in here because Venus is a money goddess in a house of work. So I'd say for some of you, Caps, you're going to find a golden financial opening regarding work and career. Also, pets. I mean, a lot of you with Jupiter here in the next year will get another pet, get a bigger pet, get more pets, have your pet have babies. And there's this idea of the bounty and the fertility of home-based animals in the next year with Jupiter here. And that could be an inciting moment with this Cazimi on Friday, where you get news that the breeder's got a pet for you, or you see in the newspaper or online your perfect pet, and you follow that thread, right? With Venus not being visible in the sky until July, you may not get the pet until July or something, but you're definitely moving in that direction. Also, this is your health and health matters. And this is a beautiful Cazimi to really harness it. Like, that would be a great day to call the doctor and make that appointment, or to schedule your lab results or tests and stuff, because you got this beautiful energy for the Cazimi itself saying good things can happen here in your health house. Your 6th house can be about debts, money you owe, others owe you. And there's a like wonderful vibe that someone could pay you money back that they owe you, basically out of the blue, coming through Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And if that was to happen, the question might be, where would this money possibly come from? Jupiter is the ruler of your house of siblings. There may be a sibling coming through with a debt repayment, or for example, or anybody, aunt, uncle, cousin, niece, and nephew. Can be 3rd house as well. Some extended family member or a friend from your childhood suddenly wanting to pay you back or give you some money that you're you were owed. And that would be really a kind of thing that could happen under this influence. Now, I mean, it could be something as simple as you get an email from this person, they want to give you the money, and as Venus becomes a visible planet in July, you get the money, for example. Now, I'm giving you positive stories because this is a positive event. This is not going to happen to everybody. They're just examples. Good things happen with work, health, pets, and finally, rentals. If you've been challenged regarding rental situations as a tenant or a landlord, and you want to heal a wound about home and domestic life, there is a challenge point that is resolving here. You've been wounded about where's my true home? Where should I live? Where do I feel at home? Where do I feel like I belong? This has been a 2019 onward wound for all of you Capricorns. And now what I'm simply saying is the wound is going to be resolved by this energy of this beautiful sixth house Chironic sextile. Trust me. And maybe the dream rental property could become available. With the sun also owning the house of mortgages, the dream property purchase as well. All right, Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising, I am one of you. It looks to me like what we're going to see here is a beautiful, well, first of all, sorry, let's not forget how gnarly Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday might feel, because you have a square from Mars in the fourth house to Pluto. You are Pluto. We are Pluto. We don't suffer fools gladly these days. We have a command, a presence, and a power that we're trying to absorb and become, and we're allowing for the divine power of the divine will, the forces of bigger titanic energies to move through us, okay? No small task, right? Is our vessel capable of holding this energy? Who knows? But all of us Aquarians in the next 20 years are learning this lesson. And the early Aquarian sun, moon, and rising, like, first 5 degrees of Aquarius, are getting the first chance to play at this game. But nonetheless, we all feel it. You can't say you don't feel a hurricane offshore just because you're not in the middle of it, the eye of it. We all feel it as Aquarius. And as we have become very more Plutonian, we are looking over at this Mars or down at this Mars, and there's conflict in the domestic environment, or there's tension with situations to do with home, land, property, and real estate. Now, this is happening on June the 14th, but you might feel, sorry, not June the 14th, June 10th, 11th to 12th, at the beginning of the week, but you may feel like you need to put your powerful will and commanding dictatorial energies to work to deal with something that's happening in the home, in the environment. Mars here is the expat or the exile, and he literally can mean you're traveling far from home at this time, which I am. And there are just maybe some domestic matters that need to be attended to back at your home, for example, and you're having to really enforce them from, your own Plutonian perspective. Fourth house matters can be mother and mother figures, and you might be dealing with some tension with a mother figure. It doesn't have to be mommy. It can be someone who's like a mother, seems like a mother, and you're having to come into some kind of conflict of will. Mars just likes change, and he's in the fourth house, so you may be looking at some possible changes regarding your home, property, and real estate, and it feels a little tense and unexpected. So I'll use me as an example. Like, I have a landlord who lives in Sweden, and she could be suddenly sending me a notice that she wants me to move. I'm on a month to month. She's going to sell the house or reclaim the property. That would be the kind of thing that would be happening on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, unfortunately. So there's an example. Now, as we get forward into the story and we look at Friday, you're going to see that Friday is going to be blessed because you have such luck. Luck, 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 luck. Can we find a 4-leaf clover on this one? Yes, you have 4-leaf clover, horseshoes up your butt, all of that. Super sweet. This is a lucky house of good fortune in the ancient tradition. It is a house of divine, a soul spark, enthusiasm, inspiration, being filled with spirit, creativity, procreativity, but it's also literally a place of fortune. And the kind of fortune the fifth house can deliver to us. First of all, it could be the money you receive from selling a property, right? Second from the fourth, but it's also speculation luck. And that means like playing the lottery, going to the casino, gaming and gambling, winning money. We win and lose here. Competitive energy is fifth house. So playing to win or winning money is a very strong energy that happens with this. And so On the Cazimi for you guys, you would be best to buy a lottery ticket. One ticket's all you need to win. Buy a lottery ticket on the Cazimi, which is on the 14th in Toronto, Canada, around 11:42. I mean, but like it doesn't. The Cazimi has about a 12-hour window. And if you take my Cazimi webinar, which is free, I'll give you exactly the best times for things like buying a lottery ticket on the 13th or 14th, depending on your time zone. But also, even if you don't buy the lottery ticket, even if you don't actively engage this, although I would suggest you do, you could have divine downloads and insights from this Cazimi around creative ideas, entrepreneurial business ideas. You could download insights around your children. You could get sudden unexpected news that one of your children is pregnant, Venus, Jupiter in the house of children. If you are a female with an egg bearing capacity, you might discover you are pregnant or your partner is pregnant. There's a lot of that energy, or you're going to be a grandparent because of the moon in the house of grandchildren. This is all the kind of energy that could be showing up for you, not just on the Cazimi of the 14th, but rather as Venus becomes visible in July. Some of this will unfold. So even though I say, oh, there's this exciting development, I don't mean you're going to win the lottery ticket on Friday. Some of you might, or you're going to know that you're going to be a grandparent or parent. Some of you might. I think Venus's visibility in July is the de facto factor. She's conjunct the Cazimi in a benefic enclosure with Jupiter. And so when she's visible, you get the visible results. And that's July. And I'll be doing it in my video webinar, when exactly she's visible, what it means for your sign. It's going to be a beautiful 2-hour webinar probably, because I take questions at the end. So please come join in. If you can't make that webinar, there's always the replay. If you're single and you're looking for love, this is beautiful. This could bring the love of a lifetime to you. And the inception point of the Cazimi is kind of the divine download, but you might get an email, phone call, you might be on a dating app, and someone approaches you and says, I like your profile. The inception point, the inciting incident of the Cazimi is happening on Friday. Venus say, the results may play out in July more fully, but it's really great for new romantic love and new romance blossoming. Existing romances can thrive under this. With Jupiter in your 5th house, your children are doing well, your romantic life is doing well, your creativity and procreativity is doing well over the course of a whole year. But this Cazimi can lend itself to, through to July with Venus rising, a bunch of really good stuff to do with those themes I just outlined. I don't know what else to say, guys. It's pretty well it. And best and always best and never last are the Pisces sun, moon, and rising of the world. So Piscean folk, we all get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to feel grit, right? Pluto, square, Mars, maybe a disagreement with a sibling. These are siblings down here, childhood friends or neighbor, and some clash. And the clash is coming from the 12th house. So foreigners, foreign shores, and foreign lands may be involved, but also maybe your own sort of self-sabotaging, self-undoing. Let's face it, all Pisces in the next 20 years, Pluto in your 12th house will transform your sabotaging, self-undoing karmic muck and junk in the trunk. And I went through that. I had spiritual awakenings after spiritual awakenings when Pluto was in my 12th house. I mean, spiritual awakenings, like enlightenment. So a lot of power in that back moksha house for you in the next 20 years. And this time there's this conflict between this potent power that you're trying to get from a deep layer of your unconscious, non-local, non-linear life, your soul's up back there, part of you, and some conflict or power struggle with a neighbor, a sibling, kind of disruption of a travel plan, conflicts around travel plans to countries foreign than the one you're living in now. That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Moving forward away from the tension, as we approach Thursday, Friday, you've got that Cazimi, and it's a benefic enclosure wedged between Venus and Jupiter, and it's gorgeous. And it looks to me like you're having a kind of blessed moment with land, home, property, and real estate. Mortgages and banks and loans are up here. For some of you, buying and selling property, land, and real estate, or even inheritance monies or legacy wealth stories are really percolating here with this Cazimi. Now, Cazimi can be an offer, like here, like someone wants to buy your property, and it's an offer, right? It comes out of the blue, maybe on Thursday or Friday. Or you put an offer in. If you're trying to buy property, put your offer in on that Cazimi on the Friday, the 14th. Your energy is about knowledge and wisdom in and from the home and how you can embody that knowledge and wisdom. And for some of you, you may start new projects here, like a book, a writing project of some sort. This is being very creative and generative and productive and lucky in and from your home. That's true for you over the next year with Jupiter here. And Jupiter will be in this part of your sky until next June. So you're lucky in things to do with homeland, property, and real estate. But I mean, honestly, Venus is watching over it. Signing a real estate contract is ideal, but also maybe getting a designer or buying a piece of furniture to decorate the home. But in a way, all things to do with your private home and domestic life are blessed from this Cazimi. And with Venus rising in July, for example, if you were buying or selling a house, contracts are negotiated under this energy, let's say 13th, 14th, and 15th, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and deals are sealed, perhaps, right? But then July is completions. So that's we call closing, right? In the real estate land. So that's Venus's visibility at that point. The sun rules the house of rentals, and you may be getting a rental property deal or renting out a property. Those are other options for what this beautiful sky is trying to do. Good things can happen with mother figures under this energy, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Good news and information about your mother. Things to do with the opposite of your visible career and reputation, right? It's all the fourth house matters. So just lucky breaks at home, lucky breaks in and from your home, that kind of thing. And just because of the moon, trining this from the 8th house, a strong possibility that there's a lot of financial goodness coming through this. Again, inheritances, banks, loans, mortgages, refinancings, those sorts of things, especially if it involves legacy wealth, inheritances, or properties, even including rentals, look really good on all of you Pisces people. So sun, moon, and rising sign. You have Saturn moving through the sky until 2026 February in the house of you. You've been feeling this since last March. You are Saturnian, serious, sober-minded, realistic, sage-like, and wise. You have a lot of strength in you right now. You're becoming the backbone energy of Saturn, and you're realistic. And so you're applying that temperament to whatever this is about, and you're able to be both realistic but enchanted by what the hell is going on in that 4th house. So I'm wishing you all the very best. And thank you, everybody who stuck around to listen today. I have to get on the road with my El Camino girls. We're going to take a nice beach walk, and maybe I can show you where I am. Someone said, oh, you show people where you are and they're going to like stalk you. Well, maybe, but I'm leaving here today. So ha ha ha. I'm not worried about stalkers. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't like the trolls, and I can't stand them actually, but I don't worry about stalkers. Hang on. Can you see the beach? Hang on. Yeah, there it is. So I'm in a town outside of a place in Spain called Vigo, Vigo. Okay. And we booked a couple nights here. We had booked one night in this hotel, and this is a wellness spa. I had a massage yesterday. Like, I'm so spoiled. And we were supposed to be here one night, and I did a mutiny on the bounty, and I said to the organizer, I'm not doing one night here, I'm doing 2. You guys can go without me, and I'll meet you at the next location with a cab. And then in the group, we were like, there's 14 of us, the person who booked the hotels, and then traveling with me are 13 women. And like, I think nine others bailed. We all stayed an extra day on the beach and the sand and the beautiful. I went swimming in the ocean. The water was so great yesterday. It was cold as F. It's the Atlantic, but it was so cool. So refreshing. And so anyway, part of my Venus Cazimi download was to not regiment myself. Venus Cazimi yesterday, and it's like not to follow the crowd 2 days ago, not to do the thing that everyone does. No, it's not even that I follow the crowd. I don't follow the crowd. It's more like my whole life when I'm not traveling is regimented by client schedules, teaching schedules, YouTube production schedules, and all of a sudden being scheduled to leave a beautiful wellness spa hotel that was one night. And I'm like, I'm not doing one night here. I'm doing 2. I'm going to enjoy this vibe. Oh my God. And the restaurant here is incredible. What's the name of this place? Oh, I can't remember. Like the actual hotel. But it is pretty damn cool. Thanks, guys, for listening. I'll see you on the next video. You're probably seeing this after my Mars and Taurus went out. Please check it out. Don't forget to sign up for my newsletter. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. And thank you to all my regulars who are probably watching this in the premiere. I hope to be in the premiere with you when this goes out on Monday. It's always going to depend on if I'm on a bus, train, or plane, or where I am, if I have Wi-Fi. But when I have had Wi-Fi and I'm traveling here, I have popped in or been in the premieres with you to chat and take your questions. So I'll continue to try to do that throughout this trip. And I'm, traveling all the way through till, well, I'm on the road until mid-July or third week of July. So, so bear with me. I'm traveling and producing content at the same time. Ciao, ciao, everybody.